Hey, I'm here. I'm back. Sorry for the little delay, but we had some crazy things going on behind the scenes here at the, I want to say not the compound, but the just going on in our lives. And sometimes it kind of delays things, but I want to welcome you back to the show. And it just seems like um, the day after I released my last video, which was about the deaths of Gene Hackman and his beautiful wife Betsy Arakawa, they had finally had come up with the with their causes of death, which is something that we were all kind of wondering about. So let me go into these. Let me get into it right here. This is from Fox News. The headline on March 7th, 2025 reads, Gene Hackman died of a heart disease about 1 week after wife died of hantavirus, say the investigators. Apparently, this was the shocking part. The shocking part was that he was alive for a week after she passed. Now, in the article here, it says that she died on or about February 11th. They now have said that it's more like on the 12th because they found communications from her on her phone and her emails. So they believe the 12th is the day that she died. But let's get into the article right here. It says Gene Hackman died due to hypertensive arteriosclerosis cardiovascular disease. He had a heart attack. With Alzheimer's disease as a significant contributing factor. This was the one thing we didn't know about, and was one of the things I kind of suspected, because he was, 95 years old, and you had to wonder, what did he have all of his mental capacity there? Did he have dementia? Did he have Alzheimer's? Now we've come to find out he did have Alzheimer's. Goes on to say he was likely alone in the home for about a week until he died on around February 18th, which was the last time activity was recorded on his pacemaker. His wife, Betsy Arakawa, died due to hantavirus pulmonary syndrome, which was transmitted from animals to humans and is commonly found in rodents, mainly their feces. Her autopsy determined the manner of death as natural. Authorities believe she died on or about February 11th. The chief medical investigator, Dr. Heather Jarrell, performed a full autopsy on Hackman the day after his body was discovered, which showed severe heart disease, including multiple surgical procedures involving the heart, evidence of prior heart attacks, and severe changes of kidneys due to chronic high blood pressure. Now, this is kind of a a thing here, because if you kind of think about it. It's all kind of making sense now. He has severe cardiovascular disease. He has Alzheimer's. He probably didn't even know, And just to let you know something about high blood pressure just doesn't affect the heart. It affects all the organs in itself. Matter of fact, some people have said that I've actually, let me rephrase that. I have heard people say that high blood pressure affects more of the kidneys and the liver functions, because it just throws everything out of whack. I have high blood pressure, and I have high blood pressure. It goes up, it comes down. I suffer sometimes. I'm hypertensive, which causes more of an effect on the high blood pressure. So of course I'm on medications to kind of, even it all out. There was a time when I wasn't on my blood pressure medication because the doctor was like, "Oh, are you going to get under control?" But then again, things kind of, stress happens. Stress, I think, is the most common denominator when it comes to high blood pressure, because it's you're stressed and it's go, and you're trying to get things done, and when things don't go right now, you're even more stressed. And but it's beginning to explain certain things that I expected to begin with, because again, he was 95. We didn't have a full medical knowledge of what was really going on, and so let's just keep on going with the article, with the with the article here. It says she had an examination of the brain showed advanced Alzheimer's disease as well as blood vessel changes in the brain secondary to chronic high blood pressure. Yes, high blood pressure does affect the brain function because it needs normal blood flow. The pacemaker data indicated abnormal rhythm of atrial fibrillation. Don't even get me to try to say this correctly or clearly, because sometimes these terms I just don't get. She said it was reasonable to conclude Arakawa died the week before Hackman, with the actor's death likely on February 18th. Based on the circumstances, it is reasonable to conclude Arakawa passed away first. The last time being February 11th, being the last time, but now we know it's the 12th. Investigators determined that Arakawa's last known activities within the community included a veterinary visit on the 9th. 2 days later, she was seen at a local grocery store, a pharmacy, and a pet store before she returned home to the gated community at around 5:15 p.m. So this actually explains another thing, because a lot of people were wondering what was up with the dog inside the crate. So it's quite possible that the dog had a procedure or something going on at the vet, had to stay in the crate in order to protect itself from the other dogs and any other activity that was possibly going on. And when she died, the dog had no way of getting any food or water. And of course, it is now said that the dog died of starvation and dehydration. That's a really sad way to go. Especially for a pet. And it explains how and why the dog was in the crate and stayed in the crate. Because Hackman probably didn't even... There are some people who are saying because of his Alzheimer's disease that he'd probably gone in and out of the bathroom not even realizing that his wife was dead. It is now believed that the pills that were his blood pressure medication, that she was a given. So she was the sole caretaker of him. And that in itself can cause a huge tragedy. So we know how the dog died and why, because it was at the vet and she was getting, she was at the pet store to get stuff for the dogs and everything. So let's continue. Investigators determined that Arakawa's last known activities... Oh, I already said that. When asked if authorities believed Hackman was able to live on his own and survive after his wife died, Gerald noted that the Oscar-winning actor was in a very poor state of health. Hackman showed evidence of advanced Alzheimer's disease, which I've already talked about. I'm not aware of what his normal daily functioning capability was. He was in a very poor state of health, and he had significant heart disease, and ultimately... that is what resulted in his death. She was unable to detect evidence of dehydration and did find poor kidney function during the autopsy. There was no food in his stomach, which means he hadn't eaten recently. He was in an advanced state of Alzheimer's, and it's quite possible that he was not aware that she was diseased, which we just talked about. So yeah, he probably didn't even know she had died. He may have thought, oh, she fell asleep. That's kind of a sad way to look at it, but I mean, there are some people who believe that that he was able to function by just literally probably just going into the kitchen and getting like slices of bread and eating, bread to just keep himself when he was hungry. But yeah, this is getting more and more. This just looks really sad. Gerald explained that hantavirus is characterized by flu-like symptoms consisting of fever, muscle aches, cough, sometimes vomiting, and diarrhea, which can progress to shortness of breath and cardiac or heart failure and lung failure. This occurs after 1 to 8 weeks exposure of excrement from a particular mouse species that carries hantavirus. Hantavirus strains in the U.S. are not transmissible from person to person, but rather from animal to humans. So she thought she had the flu. Because that's the normal thing we probably think. I've got the flu. I don't feel well. I'm coughing. I need. We go to the store. We get Theraflu. We get whatever it is we need to get over the counter stuff to get through it. That's probably what she thought. Probably didn't even think it was that severe. For me personally, when there's something that's like that keeps on progressing and just stays around, it's like after the second or third day, I'm kind of like, I need to go see a doctor, and maybe get some medication from the doctor. For some reason, she didn't do that. She continued to go about her daily routine, and apparently she was the sole caregiver for Gene Hackman. It doesn't appear like there was anybody else taking care of him. Which is, what's the word I'm looking for? It's a cautionary tale, because if you were the only caregiver for someone who has Alzheimer's and is in poor health, let me see if I get this out correctly. There is this kind of thing could happen, where the caregiver dies before the patient. And these are the kind of tragedies that kind of happen. Now she was very much in love with him. She took really good care of him, despite him being in poor health. But if we'd have to think that somewhere along the lines you would have to have a private nurse or somebody that comes by the house 2 or 3 times a week, just to make sure that everything's fine, that the medications are being taken, any refills, because if someone had shown up before he died, I mean, he truthfully, maybe, I don't know, who knows how much longer he could have lived. But you can at least get that kind of help for the patient. And that's not what happened. What happened was that they both had tragically died. No one had even suspected that they were dead. And it wasn't until the maintenance crew came back, a week after he died, to see them. And it must have just been horrifying. We finally have the answers to what's really been going on with that whole thing. Now, apparently, I guess, there's stuff, his heirs are trying to keep, certain details about his death out of the press, just as for respect for him and his wife. And I agree with that. You don't want these you don't want the last images of your loved ones being these mummified images that are going to be spread around the internet. You really don't. But to just sit back and think just that for a week, he moved around the house freely with the other 2 dogs, not even realizing his wife had passed away. Probably like somebody even said, can you imagine he has to use the bathroom and he has to step over her body, not even realizing that she's dead. And again, she was probably the one, giving him his medication. I think she was prescribed thyroid medication, which was the other medication that was found in the bathroom. And just to, I know I'm kind of like rambling on it here, but it blows my mind. It just kind of like to think that someone would die, in this fashion. It's like I said, it's a cautionary tale that you need to have. That if you're the sole caretaker of someone with Alzheimer's, that you need to have somebody else around to just make sure that everything's gonna be okay. Because if you're not there, someone else needs to help take care of them. And it's just we finally have answers. It's a sad conclusion to the whole thing, to her, for her to think that she just had the flu, and yet she has hantavirus, which I mean, I hear it's rare. And we really don't know how she got it. I mean, you got it. You get it from rodents. Okay, so they're on this property. So did someone brought up? Did one of the dogs have it? And then she got it from the dog, and then the mouse transferred the virus onto her, and as she's letting it free, and to be able to have that virus for as long as she could have had it before she passed away. Again, she thought she had the flu. That's the way we are. We think we have something else until the actual thing happens and it's too late. I know this is a shorter episode than normal. I had to come on here and kind of like, because when I left the last episode, we wanted to know answers. And again, a day after I released the episode, we get the answers. And then I was like, I can't do another video without coming back on here and just saying, here's what we found out. Here's what they've determined to have been the causes of their death. And here are the circumstances. And the circumstances are crazier than the deaths themselves. But yeah, it is a sad ending to a very bizarre mystery. I didn't get a chance to show it to you, but today's coffee mug is Chip and Dale, the wonderful friends of Disney. As I drink more coffee to calm down. Thank you so much for watching On With The Show today. My name is Goose Scott. If you liked the video, give it a big thumbs up. Give me a big old like. Thumbs up. To subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell for notifications. Bang, 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 go the bells. Hit that bell for notifications so that you always get you always get notified when there is a new episode that comes up with the show. My next episode is going to be talking about the crazy, insane situation going on with the Ghost Adventures star Aaron Goodwin and his now pending divorce, where he apparently had a hit set out on him from his own wife. But we will talk about that on the next episode. Thank you very much for watching. I am Goose. I will see you on the other side.